welcome back. Welcome back to Moving Goalposts. Well, okay. Welcome back. I'm Billy Liucci. She is.
I'm Amanda Atwell.
And we are.
He is Moving Goalposts.
He did a lot of it this week. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Is that maroon you're wearing?
This is brown. I can bring it a little closer.
Okay. It is brown.
Definitely brown.
It had a maroon hue from here, but I guess it's closer
This is
to.
one thing that there has been commentary on. A lot of people wear brown to Texas games because, like, if you're trying to dress cute, burnt orange can be hard to find. But brown does come off as maroon when you see it, like on
not outside.
Crowd, it could come off as maroon. So I am a full supporter of telling people to not wear brown at game. I mean, you can wear like a cute little brown skirt or something, but go with white. White is always safe.
Don't wear brown in November.
I won't be wearing this to a Texas game. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So
I'm sure you've already got your outfit picked out for that one.
For Texas A&M, I wore this cow print jacket a couple years ago to TCU. I might bust that guy back out, just looking like a furry bevo. It's one of my favorite looks I've had.
That's a pretty good.
It's the one in my profile picture where I'm sipping the OU Sucks beer.
Where Fran photoshopped it today.
Yes, that jacket is favorite.
All right, so before we move on, let's talk. You're drinking wine because you're still in France mode, and also Amanda warned us if she coughs, it's because she's been smoking a bunch of cigarettes in France.
I cannot smoke. That's my fun fact about myself. I have never smoked a cigarette in my life because I have horrendous asthma when it comes to smoke inhalation. So even just walking past the Parisians, smoking was a bit of a nightmare for me. So I have a smoker's cough from secondary smoke, which is a lot of fun for me.
Well, one thing you do is drink tequila and enjoy La Casa. And I didn't realize that you have the maroon ones, which I have too, but this is the same tequila, both reposado. So these are like more, I guess, the A&M themed bottles. And then you have, it's the same drink right here.
Was the Anaheim, maybe the green label, maybe the black label. I don't know.
This one's numbered. This one's got a weird numbering on it. I'm going to have to talk to Drake and the gang and do a little research. But anyway, La Casa Tequila, great for your tailgates. If you come to the Tex Ags tailgates, we've got it here as well. Try it. I trust us. You'll love it.
Fun fact, tequila does kill bacteria in your throat if you're sick. So instead of gargling salt water, maybe try yourself some La Casa.
I actually did not know that.
It's cold and flu season.
I'll take it. I thought that was vodka, but I think it is tequila. So good. All right. I
researched this while I was in France.
Interesting week. Texas off. You in France. Aggies had a big game. It's been a weird couple weeks. We had A&M off and Sam Houston. We had Texas off and A&M's conference opener. Now this weekend, both diving into conference. So let's just go with what just took place. You were overseas, so probably didn't get to watch it, but I'm sure you've seen highlights or at least read all the conversation about it.
I'm going to have an issue watching it this weekend because you know where I am?
Yeah.
At a fall wedding.
Yeah.
I'm in Burlington, Vermont currently, which is the change of scenery that you're seeing behind me. This is not quite as stunning of an Airbnb as I had last weekend, so we won't be doing it.
Vermont's beautiful, though.
It is. It's pretty. I am kind of disappointed the leaves haven't changed color quite as much as I thought they would have at this point, but it's okay. It's still very pretty.
I'm missing a wedding in Mexico this weekend. I think is absolutely beautiful. I've already seen their stuff, but again, it's a home football game, and A&M's 4-0, and it's a big game. So we're here. Best of luck, Sawyer and Sophia and everybody. I'm going to enjoy Kyle Field, but also wishing I was in Mexico. But let's react to the A&M win. They survived a game that really, if you were watching it, and you and I have talked about it, and like A&M controlled like the whole game, and they just couldn't get that one play to just end it. And it kept feeling like it right before halftime, miss a field goal to go up 16-3, go right down the field in the third quarter, get inside the 20. Next thing you know, it's 3rd and 30 after penalties. Miss another field goal, score a touchdown late, get it called back. They just never could put them away.
You know what it felt like to me? And just sorry to cut you off there. but it felt to me like second, third year Steve Sarkisian type games. Okay. Where it's like the game is being won, but it's not being put away like it should be, and it's just giving you way more anxiety than playing a team like that should, because you are obviously the much better team. That's kind of what it gave me.
It's funny you say that, because what I was about to say, and you tied right in, it reminded me a lot of last year's A&M Texas game. One team really controlled both lines of scrimmage. And, we famously, you have not let me forget that the Aggies did not cross the goal line in that one. The only time Auburn did was they ran back an interception to the 2-yard line. So they scored on a 2-yard drive. The Aggies ran their interception all the way back, both when the other team was driving to end the game. You guys were driving to go up 24-0. A&M was driving Saturday to go up 20-3 on Auburn. Instead, it was essentially a pick six, 13-10, and you had yourselves a ball game. But the Aggies, they did. The defense stepped up time and time again, just totally smothered Auburn's offense, which is a bad offense. They can't figure it out. It's crazy. They got a 5-star receiver. They got an all-ACC receiver from last year. They've got a 5-star quarterback in Jackson Arnold. And we were told they had this great O-line.
A five-star quarterback at this point.
I think you're right.
I'm comfortable with Arch Manning because I do see a positive trajectory there, at least at this point, based on it was Sam Houston State, but you saw him get comfortable. That's the biggest thing. He finally did what he was supposed to do in one of those games. Jackson Arnold's not getting comfortable.
Jackson Arnold looks like a guy that might be on his third school in 3 years, but a year from now.
Poor kid, but
and the Aggies did, Amanda, what you're supposed to do to a struggling offense. They shut him down, and really, if you compare the numbers, it's in a lot of ways they outperformed what OU did a week earlier. Now everybody,
I thought they looked way better than OU.
Yeah,
I'm kind of confused when people have OU higher than A&M in the rankings at this point, because OU should have lost that game to Auburn.
Yeah.
If it was called correctly, they should have lost that game. And that game was at home, and they struggled. It was a slugfest. Yeah. And you can say all you want about John Matier. That game didn't impress me.
And I thought A&M actually outperformed them on both sides of the ball, if you really look at it. Of course, the fans in Norman, Amanda, that I've dubbed him now Blueprint Brent, because nothing A&M did this week could have happened without, literally, I can't tell you how many of them said, well, Brent, we laid out the blueprint for y'all. So Blueprint Brent Venables did it.
I'm so glad you're dealing with how obnoxious that fan base. It's really funny to me watching the rest of the SEC discover how truly atrocious the OU. I will put them on par with Tennessee. I'm so sorry. I'm biased. They're worse than the Texas fans. It's a higher level of delusion, and you see it now because they were bad last year and they were still delusional about their program, and they're just I don't know if you saw some of my replies to a tweet the other day of just nothing negative, not wishing. I hope Matier heals quickly. Yeah. It was just a comment about a hand surgery and the recovery time period. The nastiness in those replies. It's you would think I killed a puppy in a video and posted it on Twitter.
Yeah, the overreaction stuff has been wild lately. This week to you it was OU. The week before to me it was Tech. It's guys, go actually read what I said. Calm down. It's also, not that serious.
Go touch some grass. Go touch some grass. It's not that serious.
So that's still my favorite saying, because it really is true. Get away from the damn computer for a minute.
Maybe roll in it. At this point, get off Twitter.
Well, so Blueprint Brent, I guess, Elko and A&M should send them a thank you card. I think, Amanda, I'm hopeful that I will get the last laugh on your fan base by the end of the season, but I'm pretty confident you're going to get the last laugh on OU. Here's the thing. We get distracted from the OU thing in a way that y'all don't. You guys legitimately have two rivals. Texas A&M has one. So we're kind of shielded from the goings on in Norman generally, and especially since we went into the SEC. Yeah, I'm not complaining. Okay, so Anyway, your thoughts. A win is a win in the SEC. I know that's factual. You're graded 1 or 0. 1 in the right column or 1 in the left column. Depends on what you do. They got 1 in the left column, so that was good. But do you subscribe to that, or do you think there's a little more conversation to be had when you win a tight one?
I subscribe
like
to that because I think it is a win is a win at the end of the day. Like you have said, it's hard to play anywhere in the SEC most of the time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think you can still grade it. I'd probably grade that performance a B-, with just some, like, it's good. It's passing grade. It's better than, I would have been happy with a B- on a lot of my tests at UT.
Right.
Same time, there's a couple things you can work on there. There's a couple things that you can do better next time to where you're getting that A, to where your fans aren't sweating in the fourth quarter still, because if something goes wrong, this game could go south very quickly. So I do think, a win is a win. It counts just as much as if you were to have blown them out at the end of the day. Maybe not these days with how they assess the college football playoff, but at the same time, college football playoff committee looks back at your schedule and sees 12 wins. It doesn't matter if you scraped by Auburn and had a bad game to win.
Well, you kind of answered it. To me, look, last week or Notre Dame, it was the offense that won it in really impressive fashion. This week, it was the defense that won it in really impressive fashion. Is that something you would be excited about, or is that something where you go, well, there's still a little inconsistency on each side, or is it somewhere in the middle of that?
I feel like that's something I'd be optimistic about because, you're kind of frustrated when you saw one game and then didn't really see it as much the next because that offense looked super explosive against Notre Dame and you just weren't really getting those explosive plays quite as much against Auburn. But optimistic that that both of those do exist and they just got to figure out how to piece them together. It's the same thing with Texas last year. I would be so optimistic because you would see 2 quarters of really good football where offense is running on all cylinders, defense is running on all cylinders, but then it'd fall apart in the third quarter primarily, and then they get it back together and they win the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But you're optimistic because you know it all exists. They just have to figure out how to put it together for 4 full quarters. It's there. It's just the consistency that needs to be worked on. Consistency you can work on. Sheer talent, not so much. Have what you have there.
Yeah, and I think too, here's something that has, I think some people mentioned it, and I tried to talk about it. It was really important. It's one of 8 SEC games, no matter where it falls on the schedule, and I know what's coming.
It matters more than Notre Dame at the end of the day.
It does. It does.
And it might have been a little bit of a hangover from Notre Dame as well, of just like coming off of that high, figuring out how, because that was a high, no matter how good Notre Dame actually is this year, to go to touchdown Jesus and win in front of him on a stage like that, that's always going to be a high. And you're probably going to come down from it a little bit. But if you come down from it and you still win, all good.
And look, it was important for A&M to follow, like you said, to follow that Notre Dame game up, just because of just being real honest. It's not any secret for anybody watching this, no matter what colored jersey you root for. A&M's history has been to win a game like that. And look, I'm not grading.
Aggie roller coaster joke.
The roller coaster,
winning the really good ones in the beginning and being super optimistic because you've done all this, and then just shit in the bed.
It is.
In, what is it, November or October? I can't remember when the time.
It's November, but it's also so often they give it right back. And that's why I think it's important to win this homestand and stay up there a bit, stay in that conversation, let confidence grow, remain relevant. That is the key. You're going to, at some point, A&M, Texas, Alabama, I don't think a team's going through SEC play without a loss this year. I really don't. So the key is going to be, when you do lose that one, do you actually turn it into an actual roller coaster and not fall off a cliff? Because the roller coaster comes back up. The cliff does not. So they might need to change that to...
Cliff very much existed for you guys last year. I think sense of where I have not seen it exist in a long, because it was truly just like up, 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 might play for an SEC championship, lose to Auburn. Like, lose, 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 lose.
Auburn, you're right. And that was tough to handle, as you know.
Texas, which is like, that's a tough blow to take because it's your rival, but you're losing to one of the top teams in the country at the end of the day. And it was a very score-wise, very close game. Obviously, we watched the game, wasn't that close most of the game, but it was a top team. It was like the Texas losing to Ohio State. At the end of the day, it's not going to count against you all that much if you're still a contender. But the rest of those games counted. So
Auburn was the killer, and I think A&M had a real killer instinct on Saturday because of that, on the defensive side in particular, because Marcel Reed scored at Auburn to put them up with about 3 minutes left. They were down 21-0. They came back. The defense didn't hold. Auburn got the ball back 3 times, and we're going into good, bad, and ugly here. This is part of the good. They got the ball back 3 times in the fourth quarter, down within a touchdown, 3 or 6 points. They ran 11 plays in the fourth quarter, 3-and-out punt, turnover on downs. 11 plays they ran in that fourth quarter for 1 yard. 3 sacks, 1 yard gain, never even started a drive to make the crowd or the coaches nervous, never even got going. So I think the defense had a real chip on their shoulder. That was the best part. Cam Coleman shredded them last year, Atwell, 7 for 128 and 3 touchdowns. He had 4 catches for 18 yards Saturday. That's after going 3 for 88 and a touchdown against OU the week before. Their lowest rushing total under Hugh Freeze with 52. And they got 3 fourth quarter stops in the game. Auburn did not convert a third or fourth down. They were 0 for 15. So total defensive dominance.
That is, I mean, I feel bad. I hate Texas is really bad on third down, but that is new next level stuff.
Doesn't get worse. And then running the ball, you were wondering about that. Like we talked a lot about this O-line. They got it going a little against Notre Dame. You could see it, and okay, tough yards. 207 rushing in a game where against a team that was giving up 55 a game coming in. So
that's much improved.
Yeah. So that was good. The bad was 1 touchdown on offense, and it was on your first drive. You didn't cross the goal line again, had 1 call back. I thought they were really inconsistent with sustaining and finishing drives. You missed 2 field goals, and you had a real costly turnover. But the biggest thing was the ugly penalties.
When you look at those 2 things, sorry to cut you off there, but when you look at those things, the run game being 207 yards versus only 1 touchdown on offense, that's a bad comp. That looks like the Ohio State game with Texas.
Yeah, it doesn't add
got all
up.
these yards, no points to show for them. You gotta make those yards count when they need to.
Which goes to the ugly real quick, because I know everyone knows penalties.
So Texas trouble.
13 of them. 13 of them each of the last 2 games. It's amazing that A&M could beat 2 teams like Notre Dame and Auburn with 26 penalties in 2 games.
Coco's going to Cabo by the end of the season at this rate. Like
he really might be. Hopefully, but that's obviously been a point of emphasis, and it's certainly going to be something to watch on Saturday. So let's talk Saturday.
I do feel like on that note, Texas and A&M are not the only 2 schools struggling with penalties as well right now. I think you kind of see across college football, just there's a lot of youth right now. I mean, you see it in the quarterbacks across the SEC team, the SEC as well. There's a lot of youth, which leads to a lot of bad decision-making, penalties, getting too excited. And that probably, and I mean, you can also maybe blame officiating for some of this, which has not been great. But
I was going to ask you.
I saw Elko's comment in his press conference, his sarcastic comment about the officiating. That was probably one of my favorite things I've seen.
Elko's actually really funny and honest at times, as you saw last year.
My kind of dry humor.
It's a very dry sense of humor. It reminds me of my dad, is very similar. But a lot of honesty in there, too, if you listen to him. You saw it last year after they lost to Texas, that press conference. He'll tell it like it is when the mood warrants it. But It's interesting. I was going to ask you, does A&M, in your opinion, do they deserve a top 5 ranking? But instead of that, because it feels like any of like the top 8, 10 could be in the top 5. So instead of that, you just tapped into something, Amanda, that I think all this youth, it's not just youth, it's so much turnover. So like, plop any of the Mac Brown Texas teams in their prime. I'm just going off of teams I've seen. Plop any of the Bob Stoops OU teams, the Nick Saban LSU's, prime Kirby Smart at Georgia, Ohio State when they're up, Clemson with their run under Dabo. Any of these type teams, LSU in 2019, they would be so far ahead of everyone else in college football right now. Even Ohio State, take their team this year versus their team last year, or put that team that you guys saw in Columbus against last year's Texas team, and I think you guys kicked their ass. College football is
also just because of Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, no, I think quarterback, and that goes to what I'm about to say. You just did it. Transfer portal. So many quarterbacks on the move, and okay, they're really good. Well, they're learning a new system, new receivers coming in, receivers going out. I just think there's so little continuity. Like, coaches are worse the year they move on to another school. If Sark or Elko started somewhere tomorrow, they'd be behind where they are today. If a quarterback or player loses his head coach and coordinators, he is worse off for it. So when all these players are moving, then you mix in NIL. Look at some of the QBs that are struggling. Lagway, Arch, Nussmeier, Sellers. I could go on. These are some of the big, Jackson Arnold, the 5-star. These are some of the biggest names.
Arch necessarily, because if you think about it, some of his top receivers are ones he had last year as well. He had Wingo last year. Arch is new to starting.
Yeah, I'm talking pressure, though, like that comes with either NIL or just, like in Arch's case, it's a whole different level. Probably the same with Lagway.
Mental. Like, I feel like his is more mental than anything at this point.
So I just think in closing, because I want you to talk, I want to hear you talk about Florida here. In closing, I just think, man, you are getting so much turnover everywhere that it is leading to not great football. And it's also coincidental that Bama's in year 2 of a coach, Texas, Georgia, and Ohio State, and Notre Dame all replaced a ton of guys. So the teams that were at the very top last year lost so much. The one team that doesn't fit that, and you got to keep a real close eye on, is Oregon. And right now, who knows? They might be as good as anybody. But I mentioned Lagway. I mentioned Arch. I want you to take us through. This is a big one for Texas. It's a must-have for Billy Napier in Florida at the Swamp. You know me. I talk about the SEC gauntlet. I don't care what Florida's record is. I watch them push LSU. I watch them push Miami. And you guys are going into a tough environment, whether that team's good, great, or bad. So this is one of those ones. Big test for Sark and the Horns.
Yeah, this is kind of an absolute. I feel like this is a must-win for both Texas and Florida. Texas loses this game, I don't see them going to the college football playoff. I just don't. I don't think you can lose to a 1-3 Florida team and be considered for the college football playoff unless you absolutely definitively win out.
Yeah,
and definitively win out and still in the run for an SEC championship. You win the SEC championship. I feel like that is the only route. Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting game too. Both defenses, solid defenses. I feel like Texas has the better defense here, but that's easy because Texas has one of the best defenses in the country. You've tried to make the argument, well, they haven't played anybody the last 3 weeks. They've done what they're supposed to do the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they were good against, and they were really good against Ohio State.
And defense travels. Defense travels. I'm not worried about the defense. But can Arch get comfortable? I don't know if you watched the guy that goes through film, the film guy. Brooks
Austin.
Watched his breakdown of Arch at Sam Houston State. And yeah, Sam Houston State, I get it. But at the same time, he made a lot of good points of just like, watch this. Arch gets just like smacked. It was a completion to a tight end. He just gets smacked on the hit, and it was like after that, because it was a slow start for Arch. It was what 7-0 in the second.
Was it?
It looked a little ugly at first.
Yeah.
Like, why is Texas only beating Sam Houston State 7-0 midway through the second? After that hit, it was explosive after explosive. It was like something switched. Some flip switched. So I feel like if he can get comfortable early, maybe just let him, maybe the O-line lets him get hit real early and just knock all the nerves out. Let him just play.
Design a run for him.
He almost plays better when he's making plays. When his pocket moves, he's making plays. He's making magic at that point. When he's getting too much in his head, just sitting in the pocket, that's when you see him making the bad, like the throws that are kind of into the ground, or the airing one out to a player in double coverage, that kind of thing. That's when you see the weird stuff. So I think just him getting comfortable in that, this is all obvious. Arch needs to be comfortable to win this football game. But at the same time, Arch really doesn't have to be great here because the defense is great. I have the opinion the team that gets to 20 points first in this game wins easily. And I think I'm taking Texas's defense over Florida's just because of how beat up Florida's defense is right now. His injury report was pretty telling. I feel like that's the other big story with this game. Texas is most likely, I don't know if you saw the injury report where it's probable, questionable, debatable, I don't know. There's a bunch of bulls. But the one player that I think we will not see is CJ Baxter because
he's doubtful.
That's what that one was. Doubtful. And that was a soft tissue injury. He reactivates that hamstring. He's toast for a while again.
Yeah, you got to overdo it almost.
Yeah, which is disappointing because he's really good with blocking with the run game, and run game is something Texas really needs to get back to doing. But getting Wisner back is big. We have not seen Wisner since Ohio State. And you know personally how dangerous Wisner can be when Wisner gets activated.
I do.
So having him back.
Here's my question with that running back. That to me, you just explained it out. That is the key to you guys getting into the 20s, and I think winning comfortably. I think where you're in trouble is if it looks like the A&M Auburn game where the final's like 16-10, then I'd tell you I don't know who's going to win. I'm with you.
You know who our top rusher is right now?
Arch.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's
you need
a great sign.
So
it's great that Arch can run, but it's not a great sign if your top rusher's your quarterback.
And that to me is y'all's key Saturday. Can he line up? Can Texas line up and run the football, even like they did at Ohio State? Because that will be enough to beat Florida. If they can go run the football and that O-line can prove it against a defense not as good as Ohio State's, but good. If they can do that and take some of the pressure off Arch, I think he'll make those plays and he'll be comfortable and he'll get into a little rhythm. And then you win that game like 24-27-13 or something in that department. And I think that's y'all's key to victory tomorrow, Saturday. Can they just run the football effectively and efficiently against, by far, okay, let's just say this, the best defense they've seen in 5 weeks. So that'll be the key. If they do that, I don't have any concern because I'm with you, Amanda. That Florida offense is the one that has looked really, really bad. It's losing them football games. And the formula is not, it's not to play the Texas Longhorns to come out of an offensive slump for a quarterback or a whole unit. It's just not. And hopefully the formula for them is not to go on the road at Kyle Field and come out of that slump. And we'll talk about the effects of that later because I want to ask you about certain coaches in the league as we move on. But so you feel good about it. I'm with you. I think defense travels, like you said, and I think anyone questioning Texas's defense right now would just be you're just making shit up at this point.
My hot take right now is that this Texas offense is not as bad as it looks like on paper. Because a lot of times when you see these talking heads talking about the Texas offense, they're just pointing to these numbers. They're just put these numbers are bad, these numbers are bad. They're just looking at what Arch was. Yes, Arch is a leader of this Texas offense, and it was very obvious how poorly he was playing against UTEP, and he came back a little bit against San Jose State, not really what you wanted, or came back from Ohio State with San Jose State, and then kind of depleted against UTEP, and then obviously did everything he was supposed to do against Sam Houston State. Look at all the players this offense has been without the last couple games. Those players are coming back. We're about to see what we refer to it on Texas football as the Sasquatch, Emmett Mosley, because nobody knows if he actually exists because we haven't seen him in pads once this year. Really great wide receiver, apparently. I know you have questions about how good of a wide receiver he is, but let's be honest. At this point, adding a little bit of depth in that position, I feel like can only benefit. DeAndre Moore was out for a bit in these games as well. Losing him was big. He came back against Sam Houston State, made a lot of really good plays. Arch finally started connecting with Ryan Wingo, and then Parker Livingston was able to get those reps in that he might have not been able to get in.
He's better for
might have been able to see from him had all these other players that were supposed to be the starters not started, and now I think we see Parker Livingston as a real weapon.
Yeah, no, I think you're on. I don't think they've looked good at all, honestly. Like, I throw out Sam Houston other than if it was A&M, like you always asked me to do this, right? If A&M had the start Texas did with where the expectations were, and I got crucified for saying they shouldn't be up here.
I don't think they'll ever get to the expectations they
don't have to, like you said.
Defense, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because last year, I don't think the offense ever lived up to the expectations that it was supposed to be last year.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers was supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Are you going to yell at me for? I said Ewers earlier. I said Ewers right there.
I like that. That was my.
His sister watches my TikToks, and I say
She's
his name.
Never corrected
and she
you.
Have an issue with
that's
it.
A good,
so
that's a good.
She would correct me because it's her last name as well.
Point, Amanda. I told, for those of y'all listening, I said on the show the other day.
Ask Kaylee what she thinks.
I said on the show the other day, I said Ewers, or as Amanda calls him, Ewers, and I go, I would never correct her because I am a little scared of her sometimes, so I'm not correcting it, but I'm surprised no Longhorns have. But you're right. If his own sister hasn't, then it's probably like,
I think I honestly switch it out. That's just one of those words where I have these different words in my brain where it's like I know what they're supposed to be, but sometimes I just say the wrong pronunciation because it comes off my the ADHD.
But what I was going to say is they like you said, they don't have to achieve that ceiling, and where that ceiling was versus what they've done on the field. So if it was A&M, I would have said, "Hey, I'm really encouraged." I'm encouraged by what I saw against Sam, but I need to see it against Florida and OU. And if I see it, I'm going to go, we're back. Even if it's not all the way to the ceiling, like you said, it can be 75% of that. And that's a formula that's going to probably have you guys in the playoffs and competing. Because this year, anybody that gets in the playoffs is going to feel good, especially with your defense. So, okay, A&M, Mississippi State. We've kind of touched on a lot of this, so let's go through it real quick.
I got one thing I want to touch on as we're going into around the SEC. I want to lead this off. Your thoughts on this John Mateer saga with the first it was Band-Aid Gate with, oh my gosh, he only has a tiny Band-Aid on. He can't be that injured. None of you people have ever had an that's another word that I'm not going to try to say.
Orthoscopic.
Where they just enter a little pointy thing into your body and fix something. I have had 10 of them. I can tell you I have always had just little baby Band-Aids, and some of them have required
weeks,
2 months of non-weight bearing activity, even though it's a little baby Band-Aid that you see. It's internal.
Yeah.
And also in that picture, his hand was swollen. It's his thumb it is this bone in his thumb that's broken. I have broken this bone in my hand. And I'm just going to give a little bit of background on hand injuries.
Be careful. The OU fans did not like you playing doctor. A woman
I don't
talking
think the
sports,
OnlyFans
playing
watch this
doctor.
podcast, so I'll just give this background from somebody who has broken their hand for
Let's hear
those who
it.
have not. I had a clean break in this bone. I play soccer, so obviously didn't really need my hand quite as much as Mateer does. But when you break that bone, it needs to grow back together correctly.
Yeah.
So I got a cast. Like any normal person who didn't need to throw a football, immediately I got a cast. Well, something went wrong, and in my 2-week checkup, those bones are so like this hand, your hand moves so much that these bones can get thrown off so easily. My bones turned. So when they do that, it's not growing back together correctly
They have to
anymore.
do
So I
another
had to get a
surgery?
pin put in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Now, I had to have 2 surgeries on my hand to get a pin put in and taken out. But with this, he had a surgery where it kind of fuses your bone together. But at the same time, so it's much quicker healing, and it keeps the bone kind of locked in the position it's supposed to be. But if that doesn't have the appropriate amount of time to heal and gets, like I said, like mine did, turned or knocked out of whack in any way, that's going to be a much worse injury than it was initially.
So I've got
So just put this timeline in perspective. He got surgery. If he played the Texas game, he would be playing 2.5 weeks post-op.
Yeah. I don't.
That's insane.
But here's the other thing, Amanda, and this is what A&M had to worry about leading up to the Notre Dame game when Marcel Reed got hurt, left the game against Utah State. He was going to play the whole time. It wasn't an injury that was going to keep him from playing. He was going to play in pain against Notre Dame. But the question was he going to be able to practice much, if at all, that week? Because if the answer is no.
I told him you're going to be in practice on Monday.
Yeah, so if the answer is no, then I got news for you. He's probably not playing worth a shit on Saturday. That goes for any position, but it's especially true at quarterback. So there's 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks from when Mateer had the surgery to Texas, but he's got to be ready to play in 2 weeks, because if he doesn't practice and hasn't thrown for 2 weeks prior, I don't expect him in that game. There is one little thing in the back of my mind. I do wonder, he finished that game. Now, do you think that's just adrenaline? He was 16 of 17
I think a lot
to
of
finish.
it's adrenaline.
Because I was about to say, if you're throwing well enough to go 16 of 17 to end the game, and then they say, hey, let's do surgery on you ASAP, do you think they did that to say, hey, let's do it because we'll get you back for Texas? Or do you just think, let's do it because the sooner you do it, the sooner you get back?
I mean, I feel like a lot of it was adrenaline. I think my break was probably with a thumb. It's not a part of the main hand. I'm sure he could have figured out a way to still grip the ball there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty
You
sure
would
it
have went
was
off
a
the
clean
soccer
break
field.
based on.
You'd have went off the pitch crying, I'm sure, knowing you.
Oh, I accidentally punched somebody, and this hand was this big afterwards, and I was playing goalie, so
I'm telling you,
I
dude.
had to go off the field.
By the way,
I was in 5th grade. I'm not a violent person. It was an accident. I didn't mean to punch somebody.
by the way, Aggies and Longhorns right up here starting in about 30 minutes, so I might go by there. Both teams struggling, though. It kind of stinks for both have had like a proud soccer history, and both of them are toward the very bottom of the SEC standing. So
team is really young.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Texas is a great team last year, but they're really, really young this year. So
let's talk A&M Mississippi State real quick. It's a blackout. It's another one they need to win. Look, we just talked about
They're
it.
doing the script in the end zone, or was that AI?
No, they really are doing the script end zone. Yeah, script end zone. I love going with the alternate. I know. Listen, I wouldn't want, if I was Texas, I wouldn't want to go with the alternate. I agree.
I don't think orange works with black.
Yeah,
I don't think burnt orange works with black.
I agree, and I agree with Del Conte. Like, if I'm Texas, if I'm USC, Ohio State, Bama, I'm not going alternates. It doesn't mean
that A&M do super weird alternates. Like when I see TCU roll out with red on their uniforms.
stupid.
No, none of that.
A&M's just doing a blackout. They might do a throwback from time to time. They are going to do one, the 1975 throwbacks this year. But you said something I agree with. I loved the script helmets with the black. It looks really cool. But I do agree with you.
I like the script in general. I like the script Texas, the baseball script. I have a little Yeti mug with the script Texas. It's my
favorite. But you and I talking. You said something that it did register, and I kind of agree. The A&M, the logo everybody recognizes, the ATM. I would like next time they do all black to maybe even have the black helmets with the white ATM on them. That might look even cooler. But this is fun.
I like the script. I didn't like it on the helmets.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. The A&M helmet is the brand for me. I don't like that being replaced with a script. I like the script on a shirt. I like the script on the field. I think that looks cool.
You know what I like? They're 2-0 in the script. LSU and Notre Dame. So for now, give me the script. But it's Jeff,
a curse thing.
So Jeff Lebby of Mississippi State, right? This is a good little conversation real quick. It is a very important game. The spread, in my opinion, is way too big at 14.5. Mississippi
Did you see the college football Barstool show?
Oh, God,
Casey Smith?
Poor Casey. She just gets ganged up on by them. It's like...
I was kind of surprised they all picked against her.
Well, they all... Here's the deal, though. They all picked... I told her this. They all picked A&M. Even Brandon Walker. He said, congratulations. None of them picked A&M to win by 15 points. And I agree with that. I think this is going to be a tight game. They lost to Tennessee in overtime. They beat Arizona State at the end of the game. This is the most improved, and you guys will face them later in the year. It's the most improved football team in the SEC.
There.
Yeah, cowbells.
So remember what you're saying right now when we go there. If Texas wins handily in Starkville and they're really bad, remember what you're saying right now.
Amanda, if Texas wins in the Swamp and if Texas wins in Starkville, because last year Mississippi State sucked. And I said, hey, it's still a win you don't apologize for going into Davis Wade Stadium with the cowbells and getting a win. It's always tough. So if I move the goalposts on this, you will have a lot of ammo. You can go find when we beat a bad Florida team in the Swamp last year, and I was talking it up. We beat a bad Mississippi State team last year. I was talking it up.
I have some find right now I could go find, but I'm holding true to I'm not talking too much shit until it's said and done, until the end of November.
Well, we're going to visit this here in a minute, but this game, what do you think about it? Do you like A&M? Here's my biggest takeaway, and we've dove into the X's and O's and all that all week over here at TexAgs. Their offense is worrisome. They've got Blazers at receiver. You're familiar with Brennan Thompson. Their other receiver transferred in from Georgia, who's from San Antonio.
I'm happy for Brennan Thompson. I mean,
he found his home.
Yeah.
And it's a good home. And Blake Shapen, the former Baylor quarterback, is doing good things. So that system, it's the Mike Leach, it's the Art Briles, it's the Lane Kiffin, it's that tempo. You either can deal with it or you can't. And you don't find out really until the game starts. So if they can deal with the tempo and handle it, I think A&M wins comfortably. If they can't, I think it's a game that'll look a lot like Tennessee, where both teams just score a lot of points. So that's where I'm going to be really interested to see. Give me Texas A&M at home. If this was on the road, I would feel a lot differently about how tight this thing's going to be and Mississippi State's chances. They haven't left Starkville yet this year, which I think is significant.
I think Texas A&M wins this by 10. I don't like the spread at 14. I think 10. So still 2-score game, comfortable for SEC play. I think it's there's a freaking pair of cigarettes again.
God.
I swear. It's just like they hit my lungs at random.
I smoke a cigarette about once a year. I probably would have in Paris, honestly.
I is the one. I mean, I told Grant, I was like, I really want to smoke a cigarette on our like balcony in Paris. He was like, you're not touching one of those because I will hear you coughing.
I would have probably talked to him into it and been like, hey, let's go over here where Amanda doesn't know.
And then he'd having an asthma attack in front of the Eiffel Tower, and that would have been a lot of fun.
All right, so listen, we got A&M, Mississippi State, Texas, Florida. If both teams win, I think it'll be a really quietly a significant victory for both teams because the Aggies just have to avoid landmines because there's enough difficulty around the corner in that second half of SEC play. They've got to avoid landmines. As for Texas,
yeah, I mean, you've got a decent next couple weeks for you.
Yeah. But like you said about
Florida beneficial.
Yeah.
Then you go on the road to see old Bobby Petrino.
My guy.
Your guy.
Who coached here, and he coached here for a year. I never even met him. It was the weirdest in and out coaching tenure.
It's so funny. It's like talking on Texas football about like imagine telling like Gen Z Arkansas fans that Bobby Petrino has been your coach before, but this is what happened.
And that they're telling Gen X like you're gonna have John Calipari come coach basketball here one day. He's gonna leave Kentucky to go to Arkansas is living in a weird they're living in a really weird matrix right now where it's like a test experiment.
Arkansas beat the absolute brakes off of Texas just a couple years ago. I think
Sam Pittman beat A&M in Texas in the same year.
It was a curse. I think Texas joining the SEC was a curse for them because it's just been since.
Well, here's the deal. A&M Texas since Bobby Petrino, he's 3-0 against A&M. Since he left Arkansas, the Aggies are 12-1 against Arkansas. That one we'll talk next. We'll have a lot to talk about.
About everybody else. So is just about everybody else at this point. Arkansas is.
We'll talk about that.
Kentucky are the two just programs.
Let's talk around the SEC, and we've tackled a lot of it just now. But start with this weekend. I think a lot. Unless there's upsets, which we both hope they're not. This weekend really centers around. This week centers around Alabama and Tuscaloosa. They go into Athens and beat Georgia. Amanda, they own Georgia. It wasn't just Nick Saban. Kalen DeBoer's 2-0 against them. And what a big win for Bama after that Florida State loss to come back the way they have and look so good. And they walked into Sanford Stadium, slapped Georgia around, and they're coming home now to play College Game Day, the game of the week, against Diego Pavia, the Rottweiler, and Vandy. And it's Vandy looking to walk out of there and go, we own Bama.
You like the upset in this one.
I do.
Like the upset in this one, and I'm going to explain to you why I don't. Because some people will say this is a trap game for Bama. They're Alabama. They're still Alabama. They're playing little old Vanderbilt. I don't think at this point you can just look at it like the Vanderbilt Alabama from years past. I think this is more akin to Texas playing Florida than going and playing OU the next week. Texas isn't going to walk into OU like it's just some little OU. There's a chip on the shoulder in this game now. This is more like a pride game. This is a must-win. Every single year, no matter how bad either team is, Texas, OU, it's a pride game, and it's anyone's game. But at the same time, I think Alabama's a more talented football team, and I think you saw that last weekend. And yes, that's not to offset anything from Diego Pavia. I think this Vanderbilt team is something like it's on a positive. I would love to be a Vanderbilt fan right now. They're going to be putting a lot more fans in the stadium than they once were. But it's a pride thing for Alabama at this point, and I just, especially at home, I don't see them getting upset here. I think this fan base is more activated for a Vanderbilt game than they have ever been in their existence at this point.
For sure.
Because you cannot lose a game 2 years in a row.
No.
And that's just... It's a vengeance thing. It's the same reason why I'm going to pick Texas to win in Athens, because at this point, it is a pride thing. There are 2 losses last year. One of them He could have won by a field goal if Bert Auburn knew what was good for him and how to use his leg.
Well,
but
the Aggies are 2-0 in revenge games this year, Notre Dame and Auburn. So hopefully they can keep that going because there's a couple more on down the road.
I don't think they'll go undefeated in that category, but
We'll see. We'll see. But look, here's my take. If you made me pick and rank the SEC teams like everybody likes to do, if you made me pick a number one today, I would probably pick Alabama, but I wouldn't feel great about it, and here's why.
I don't feel great about picking anyone.
Exactly. They beat Georgia by 3. Georgia should have lost to Tennessee. It took a miracle for them to beat Tennessee. They scored 24 on Georgia. Tennessee lit Georgia up. They should have won that game. Tennessee
I got a question.
should have lost to State.
How chaotic this is, does this make it more fun for you or just more annoyingly stressful? Would you rather know who's good or just not know who's good?
You know what? You want me to be real honest? And this is going to give you more ammo, this schedule thing. I would like to know who was good. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of.
Because you didn't know who was good coming into the season, obvious. And never mind.
Yeah. What? Go ahead. Let's hear it. You got something.
It's the schedule. And I said we're not talking about this anymore. So
no, we got a good little ending, and you're gonna you can. People, I think probably everybody will be pleasantly surprised. But yeah, I would love to know who's great if they weren't on the schedule. Oh, Georgia's badass. Well, good thing we don't play them this year. There is that to it. But I like this because every fan base, we went through it today. We don't have to do it now, but there's 10, right now going into this weekend, there are 10 teams that can say, we can win the SEC. Now, after this weekend, if form holds and there are no upsets, because there aren't a lot of big games. If you guys win, A&M wins over here, we win this, y'all win in the swamp. The only team that's probably going to be knocked out of that discussion, not even really though, but the loser of Bama-Vandy will take a big hit. But if form holds, we're going to go into next week with like 10 teams still thinking they have a chance to win the SEC. To me, that's a lot of fun, and it's damn sure going to make the college football playoff fun because it's all the way around the country. One of those teams, Amanda, is Ole Miss. Did they expose what you and I have suspected all year? And I've been banging the drum, as you know, that LSU and Nussmeier are overrated because the fans in Baton Rouge, it's only one loss, but they are very, very unhappy right now with Brian Kelly, with that offense. And they're very concerned. They're very concerned about Nussmeier's health. Did they get exposed this weekend, or is Ole Miss just that good?
Like you said, I don't know who's good anymore. And it also wasn't exactly a blowout.
No.
When they can say the game still could have gone either way. Mm-hmm. But I gotta say, I was a little MIA this weekend, so I didn't watch this game in its entirety. But at the same time, I think you can just go back to your point of just it could go. I mean, they play South Carolina next week. Is that at home or away?
That's going to be at home. That's in Baton Rouge.
Okay, then I mean, you likely won't learn much that game. You'll learn much against Vanderbilt. You'll learn more against you guys. Yeah. So I think I'm not ready to say that you're right in this situation, but also if I say you were right, that doesn't mean I was saying the other way. So I didn't know enough about Nussmeier coming into this season. I mean, it was the same page of all these quarterbacks, Manning, Nussmeier, Lagway, Sellers, of just like, they all have potential. They all have a ceiling. We can all put them on that table where they all have a ceiling that should be high.
If anyone might not meet that ceiling. If anyone had any, and this is why I kept saying all offseason, throw Marcel in there too. There was so much unknown at the quarterback position, and so many of these teams that were at the top lost the most, and so many of these teams in the middle of the pack held on to some, and the bottom teams added. It was going to be crazy, and the craziness
there should be a study done on this college football season because Clemson, that was one of those we were confident about.
Yeah,
that was one of those where this quarterback should be check mark, good to go. Put them in the college football playoff now.
Yep. And they're cooked.
Syracuse, Georgia Tech,
They're done. They're done.
LSU. Like,
Dabo
imagine being
Sweeney
a
might.
Clemson. I mean, one of my best friends is a South Carolina fan, so I'm like, couldn't happen to a better fan base. Very happy for you to watch their downfall. But at the same time, it's just.
And speaking of downfalls, Atwell, if you're not in that 10 teams, you better be watching out for your job. They got Sam Pittman this week after that beat down from Notre Dame. That was 42-13 at halftime. Who's next? In your opinion, I'm going to give you 3 names. I'm going to ask you, do any of them make it to next season still coaching there? And who's next to be fired? Billy Napier, Hugh Freeze, or Mark Stoops at Kentucky?
I would say if Texas beats the absolute brakes off of Florida and they're booing them off, chanting him out of the stadium once again, I think he's gone after the Texas game.
If he's not,
if Texas somehow beats the brakes off of them, I think he's gone. Otherwise, I'm going Kentucky.
Okay, they are tired of him, right?
It's dismal down there. There's no hope. There's no optimism.
Do you know how close we were to hiring him as the head coach at Texas A&M? It's insane. It's mind-blowing to think.
Maybe he would have had different tools there and it would have gone better. Because, A&M, gotta say A&M football has a few more tools at hand than Kentucky football.
Yeah. But
still, better off with it.
Oh, my gosh. I think it would have been a total disaster. I think it was a coach that's just kind of – his career trajectory is on the downhill swing, and it's very rare that those guys can get it back. So I'm with you. If Napier loses Saturday, even if it's by 1 point, and loses at A&M, that is a 1-5 record in Gainesville.
I think Florida's less tolerant to this kind of.
Yeah, they have championships there.
Results. Kentucky.
How about you, Freeze, though? If he loses next week and to Georgia at home, and if Missouri and Drinkwitz waltz in there and beat him the next game at Jordan-Hare, that will be 3 years in a row, Amanda, that Hugh Freeze has started 0-4 in SEC play. Another place with championships. That ain't cutting it. I think both of these guys get lopped off in season. It's going to be interesting. It's a.
But you think that would change if they had beat OU?
Yeah, absolutely, because they would have beaten OU and Baylor.
Really, really, really frustrating considering
how they lost.
And the fact that after the fact there was a statement released saying, "Oh yeah, Auburn, sorry, you should have won this game."
Yeah, way too much at stake for that to be screwed up like that. All right, I'm going to ask you this: two national questions. Virginia, Florida State, field storming, epic moment Thursday night, but also scary where one of those Florida State receivers just got engulfed by the fans.
I don't like that part of it. It makes for a really cool video, but did you just kill that wide receiver?
Yeah, he just disappeared. It was crazy. Where do you come off on, not when it's warranted or not, but are you okay with field and court storming in college athletics? Because I know the administrators are doing everything they can to stop it, but there is something special about the sport.
Like you have to consider when it's warranted or when it's not.
Mm-hmm.
When it's warranted, when it's like, say Texas beat Alabama at home the year we beat Alabama, say that was a home game.
Your breakthrough.
Alabama. I would fully expect a field storming.
Yeah.
I would have embraced and Texas has always been the tea-sippers about field storming. We're better than that. We have championships. I don't care. Rush the field.
I agree.
Haven't won shit in so long. Rush the field, please. Mm-hmm. You just lopped off ahead of something you've been needing to do for years.
Yeah, if they would have done that, I'm with you. If they'd have done that at home. And also, how does it end? Is it a walk-off play? Totally different. If you're up 14 through the whole fourth quarter and some people start.
That kind of dulls. I think if Texas had won the way they did in Tuscaloosa at home, that would have made a field storming less likely because beating the brakes off of Alabama that year.
I'm,
Alabama was
I'm,
not coming back from that game. That ending, I can see why they stormed the field, but at the same time, are either of these teams going to be in the college football playoff? No.
no, not anymore.
Also, I don't like the way that the end of that stadium is set up.
I know.
Freaking students just standing on the field.
Yeah, it's wild. Some of these stadiums, when you travel around a lot, it is the coolest thing about college sports is the uniqueness and differences in stadiums. You don't get that anymore in the NFL. I saw a design where like the Rangers and Astros stadium looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. The Bears are building a new stadium and someone showed it next to the Raiders, I think. Looks exactly the same inside. Like,
I mean, you can ask me all you want about NFL. I don't watch much NFL.
Yeah.
My fantasy team is 0-3. I haven't even checked this week because I'm kind of
you've disengaged.
Disengaged at this point. I might be doing the fantasy football. Normally, I'm really good at fantasy football, but I've just NFL football bores me.
What you're about to, I think, if you have another week like you did last week, you might tap out on the pick'em because my friend.
I blame being on the French Riviera. Y'all should have seen my view, and you would understand. I did not care what was going on back in this country.
I get it. You had a right.
I could have been a ballerina in pads, and I would have not cared because I was the view I had.
You had an absolute right to. I'm pulling up the picks as we speak.
Also, I was a few rosé glasses deep when we shot that because y'all were, thank God to the Texag staff who woke up at the crack ass of dawn to film that because it was 3-4 p.m. my time, and if you're 3-4 p.m. in South France, you are knee deep in liquids.
On the flip side, I was here, Atwell, and guess what I did?
You went 9-1.
And batted 90% this week, so a big win.
That's crazy for anybody that doesn't pick them.
It really is. So it's 3 weeks to 2. I'll have them tally up the total scores. I think you're behind bigger on that, but there's two contests going on here. So let's dive in and do these real quick, and then we'll wrap up with our retweet, delete, and keep it moving. Let's see. I'm pulling up where I sent you the picks. Here we go.
All right. Did you text me that, or did you text me and Callie that?
I texted that to just you.
Okay.
There they are.
Let me scroll back your 5,000 text messages.
Yours too. Okay, here we go.
And did you send that this morning? Oh, wait, they're there.
You got them?
Too many scrolls.
All right. We can leave this, Nick. This is just funny because it just shows us just being buffoons. Okay. I'm going to read them out in a different order, so we'll save ours for last. Let's start with it down the street here. Texas Tech, number 11, going to Houston to face Connor Wigman and the Cougars. 2 undefeated teams, 2 teams atop the Big 12. Who do you got in this one?
I want Houston for the upset.
Wow. You kind of stole mine. I wanted to go with Wigman and the Cougs.
I know how much you love Texas Tech, so.
I want to go with Houston.
You can choose the same team as me. It's not against.
I'm going to pick U of H too. I think Tech is flying too close to the sun. They should win this game. They're better. They're going to have a better year. They're a better team. I worry if U of H can block them, but they might scheme around that, and Wigman can get rid of the ball a lot better than the guy over at Utah last week, who I thought was a mess trying to throw the football. Wigman will not be a mess trying to throw it. Upset City. We're on the same page there. Okay, moving on. Here's one that we don't have a lot of concern about. It's Michigan State at Nebraska. Nebraska, just so you know, is a 10.5-point home favorite.
I got to look this up.
I'm going to tell you right now, I shouldn't do this. I'm going upset because I'm tired. I'm tired of Raiola. I'm tired of watching him try to act like Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, I forget that's that guy. God, that's annoying.
But I'm gonna go with Michigan State
That's
here. But
one of those. He's one of those dudes that just has a punchable face, you know.
yeah, but he's a big. They're 10.5-point favorite. I'm gonna go road underdog.
I see him in Heisman conversations. I'm like,
He's having a hell of a year.
Are we having a dude that imitates Pat Mahomes as a What is the Heisman this year? I thought this.
If that guy he won't get it. He won't get it. Somebody's going to emerge. But I'm going with a major upset here. This will be the biggest limb.
A major upset because USC beat Michigan State. So
yeah. So who do you got?
I don't want to pick Nebraska now. We're gonna go.
Nah, you just answered it with that sigh. Yeah.
Go Nebraska.
All right. How about?
I don't like it, but we'll go Nebraska.
How about here's one. Virginia flying high off that win, going to Louisville. Virginia at Louisville. Number 24, Virginia at Louisville.
I'll go Virginia. Are you gonna go upset because I picked?
No, I think Virginia keeps it going too. I think they're a good team. I don't think Louisville's got some overwhelming home field advantage either. Okay.
I mean, there's not really much to go off of from Louisville this year.
Washington going on the road to play Maryland. Washington is a 6.5-point favorite in the Big Ten. That classic Big Ten matchup of Washington going all the way over to the literally West Coast to East Coast to play a conference football game.
I mean, that is an awful league to have to play in.
Yeah.
The timing's terrible.
Yep.
Who do you got? You can go first this one.
On that one, I'm Washington's favored. I'm going to pick Maryland at home.
Okay, someone's having a party outside. Might go join them. I mean, Washington scraped Ohio State, kind of destroyed them. I'm going to go Washington.
Okay. Here's a big one. Miami at Florida State. Number 3, Miami at number 18, Florida State. An interesting line. It was like 4.5 last I checked. Might have changed, but
at Florida State?
At Florida State. It's a much closer line, but
Florida State's licking their wounds right now.
Yep.
You can go first on this one, too.
I'm going to go with another upset here. I think Florida State and Castellanos bounce back. Miami, I haven't felt them lately. You know, they fought to put Florida away. I just don't think we're going to see them go undefeated.
With Carson Beck, I'm going with Miami.
Okay. And by the way, I know what these picks are going to come off as looking bad when we put our graph out, but I keep getting them right. I just want to point that out. Yeah. Okay, I'm going.
I get it also because this is it goes back to what we were saying earlier. This is such a wild college football season that, God knows what's going to happen every week.
Yeah, flip. We could have Nacho and Luna.
Not winning, so.
We have Nacho and Luna and Griffin pick. Okay, K-State at Baylor. Baylor's a 6.5-point favorite. Where do you go on that one?
Baylor.
I'll go Avery Johnson and K-State. I watched Baylor. I'm going to go Avery Johnson and K-State there as a slight underdog. Kleiman's got to save his job, man. You know, I don't want that one coming open because that's Colin Klein's alma mater, and I'm liking what this A&M offense keeps doing over here. Okay, and then the last couple before we get to our big ones. Kentucky at Georgia. Okay, so here's the deal. We're picking the spread on this one. Georgia is favored by 20.5.
I don't think Georgia covers.
You don't?
Don't. Nope.
I don't either. I don't love their offense. And by the way, Kentucky almost beat Georgia last year, and Mark Stoops had that offense shut down. I'm going to stick with you on that one. I don't think they cover. And then finally, our two games here. Mississippi State at A&M. I think we already said we're not doing the spread, but we both like A&M, but if we were not to cover. We have not talked about, we kind of have Florida, Texas. I think you kind of said your score, right?
I think I said my score. I said my score on Texas football.
What'd you say?
My score is 24-17 Texas.
Okay. I got Texas to win that one too. I think 24-30, 26-13. I'm picking a weird
That's
score.
one of those first team to 20 wins in my opinion. I don't see
I agree.
DJ Lagway stringing it together enough against this Texas defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be hungry for interceptions. You know, they want to stab that sword.
Yeah.
You've seen the interception sword, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see it happening in their run game either, and they're beat up. So.
And then the final one, Vandy at Bama. We've already said I'm calling upset. I'm going with Pavia.
Bama.
You're rolling Tide. Okay.
I hate picking the Tide. I got reasons I hate picking the. I've reasons I should pick the Tide and reasons I shouldn't pick the Tide. I feel like you know some of those reasons,
I do.
but we'll reluctantly pick Alabama this week.
Okay. And then finally, moving goalposts, retweet, delete. What do we got this week?
I told you we're not doing retweet or delete right now.
Well, you don't know. Some people have suggested that maybe there was a suggestion.
You are welcome to find a retweet or delete if you want to. I've asked you the entire time we've had this show. This is an open platform.
I'm not trying to get you. That the suggestion was you should go and get ones where you were, meaning like me, were raked over the coals by whoever else. Maybe you, I don't know, for things that I ended up being right about. It's an interesting concept. I need to do a little more homework next week and maybe look into it. So hopefully... I
gotta say, I haven't had much time to do homework this week. I got back from France on Monday. Tuesday, I had to work a full day. Wednesday, I had to work a full day. Tuesday, I woke up at 1:30 a.m., did not go back to sleep because of jet lag. And so those are the 2 work days I had this week. Flew out this morning at 5 a.m. I was at DFW Airport. So homework time has been limited.
I'm trying to go work out at 7:30 p.m. tonight, which is ridiculous, but I'm going to do it.
I did get in 2 workouts as well. So
that's impressive. So we moved what about moving goalposts? Because
we moved goalposts.
Because I'll say this, I try to support my friend here, and I go, my co-host. I want to support my co-host, and I go watch her host her show last night for a little bit after I was at dinner, only to just hear all kinds of slander. You went on this epic rant.
I didn't even mention your name. I was saying a certain fan base.
No, you said my name too. You said my friend Billy. At least you acknowledged me as your friend. Yeah. But it was an epic rant that has since been, our friend Fran pulled it, and it's...
I feel like that's my first epic rant on that show as well. I mean...
Yeah, it's true. You usually save it for here.
They're all in the technicalities. I'm just like, can we just yap a little bit?
You do 2 very different shows with very different personalities. I mean, I've met Vogel. I like Vogel, but both of them I know. But
I love teams. I've learned a lot about football intricacies listening to them. So that's always good to add to your knowledge palette.
It is. It helps. But yeah, you were over the, you think the schedule conversation is officially dead and buried.
And I think it's dead and buried because of stuff you have said in this show of not knowing who is good.
Yeah.
When you go into a season not knowing who is good, and you sit and you look at Texas's schedule and you laugh, and then you realize, a team like I had a guy in my comments saying, "Oh, look, Vanderbilt's coming to save your schedule again." Vanderbilt didn't save our schedule last. Vanderbilt wasn't that good last year.
No.
We should have beat Vanderbilt by 3 touchdowns last year, but. I mean, that aside from the point, at this point, the college football is so up in the air especially if you're in the SEC. I'm only applying this to SEC football because Big Ten, I don't even want to talk. You can look at their schedules and make up your own mind on how good those schedules are.
Yeah.
But with the SEC...
Maybe you guys could have helped shut the Big Ten up when you had the chance, but somebody didn't handle business in the horseshoe. I mean,
honestly, would you have rather... At least it was a 1-score football game.
No.
At the end of the day, it's 1 score. It's not like it was an uneven playing field.
No.
If you can only beat trash bag Arch Manning, who everybody seems to think he is now, by 7 points...
Well, you
Then are you
what
that
you
good?
you're I see where you're going to, because look, we're both looking at Mississippi State going, hey, way tougher game than we thought. Now y'all got to go there. You got to go to Florida. You've got, I mean, I think
even Auburn. Don't
Yeah.
act like you weren't hyping up this Auburn win like you just won the Cheez-It Bowl. Like,
that probably is a Cheez-It Bowl type team, Auburn. That
exactly.
might be where
It's
they land.
like it's you were hyping up this win like, oh, you wanted us to lose this game. No, I expected you to win that game.
You know what we're not gonna
I
do?
expected you to win this game. I don't care that you won this game because I thought it was gonna happen.
You know what?
As did most Texas fans.
You know what we're going to do less of on this show is that voice you do, where you make me sound like an old character from like The Simpsons or The Family Guy, like with a walker. You kids, like it's like we're not. I don't know how that you landed on that for my voice, but we're not making it a thing.
Hey, I have an invitation for Grant too, and he really hates it.
Do it.
It has to be the right moment. You can't just.
All right. So yeah, and you had a point too that I really don't want to bring up, but I actually, in my defense, I did bring it up on this show actually, and so like fair is fair, right? So I've been going on for how long about this schedule thing?
I have never heard the word schedule come out of a single person's mouth more than this guy. So you know what you're getting for Christmas? You're getting a calendar.
A schedule?
You're getting a calendar, and it's going to be maybe a Longhorn themed calendar. Maybe it'll just be a fun football calendar.
Or what about like a schedule magnet?
Make sure that you have your schedule intact because you are so concerned about schedules.
I was.
We have had this conversation. This is a completely different argument point that I made last year too.
Yeah,
So I now have two solid argument points as to why this shit doesn't matter.
It is
I hear the word again.
I will retire the word as it has turned out, as I look at, this was something that you and I discussed, the top 10, and I talked about it with Nuno the other day. And I proposed it to him saying, how many teams do you think Texas plays in the top 10? Thought 2. Right now, today, and it'll change, but it's 4.
It's the coaches poll.
Coaches
AP poll
poll
is out of the top 10.
Coaches poll. They're 10, and then Bama's 10 in that.
Do we trust the AP poll after this year?
No, right? I don't know.
Give me an AP vote.
That's true. Those people are out of control. They're so bad. But 4 of the top 10 in the coaches. That's the most, actually, if you go through the top 10. It is the most. Miami plays none. Miami doesn't play a top 10 team. And again, I think Notre Dame's going to get back in there, and both these teams are going to have one. But we're talking about
soul melting as you're having to admit this.
I mean, it's been a talking point.
It's been your narrative. It hasn't been a talking point. It has been your narrative since Texas got their schedule in the SEC that apparently Texas kissed the toes of somebody to make sure they were blessed with the best schedule possible so they could win the league and win the national championship. But guess what? If you win the league, that doesn't mean you win the national championship. And they won 2 college football playoff games. The narrative continued after that, still somehow into this season. But I hope now, finally, we have a close.
I don't even know what to say. Okay, here's the deal. I was right. I never thought it was a ploy to get Texas to. I don't think it was on purpose.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I never thought it was on purpose. I never thought it was Hey,
you're better than some of the guys,
yeah.
And I think you saw this in my mentions today, like, oh, the back alley deals Texas did with the SEC to get their schedule. Have you looked at the SEC schedule for the next couple of years?
I just thought
and also, if you looked at Texas's non-conference schedule for the next couple of years, there is a Power 4 team, a major Power 4 team on the schedule for the next into 2030.
I know, and Notre Dame's one of them, and Ohio State and Michigan. I have seen your texts. I know.
And I was right last year until I wasn't, because then the SEC turned into, we had the whole thing of Vandy beat Alabama.
You weren't right until you weren't. You just weren't right. If a scientist makes a theory that the Earth is flat, and then
Some people believe that still.
proven that it's not flat, does that mean you were right until you weren't right, or does that mean that the Earth was never flat?
Since I'm not a flat earther, although there are some that walk around, believe it or not,
flat earther with schedules at this point.
I am a scheduled flat earther. That's a good point. I've been wrong. I this year especially, but I also will say this. I never ran from the fact that I thought A&M, and I said this all year last year, A&M had a favorable schedule too last year. They had a favorable schedule, not favorable this year, but it's nicely laid out. It's very nicely.
You ever put that into writing?
You
ever put that into writing?
What?
A&M's schedule was pretty favorable, just like you like to point out that Texas's schedule was favorable, but you ignore the point that you also
they're laughing. My people are laughing in the back right now. You're entertaining.
Oh, my light just went out.
My own. Sonya's paychecks.
It's okay. I'll give you some of mine as a Christmas bonus.
Thank you. I need it. Okay, so.
Oh, I was talking about them. I'll give it to them, not to you.
Oh, never mind. Okay, so can we retire the schedule smack? Because here's the thing, too. I was planning to retire it after this year.
You can retire it. You're the one that keeps bringing it up. It would be done if you didn't keep bringing it up.
I was going to retire it after this year because the 9-game SEC schedule makes it a moot point. And my God, if you look at what Texas has.
Ruins one of my favorite narratives. Guess I'll have to find a new one.
What is?
The 9-game schedule ruins one of your favorite narratives, so you're going to have to find a new one.
This has been a rough finish for me. It's not a narrative of mine. It's been a crusade, actually. I wrote that today, and it feels like...
crusade. The schedule crusade. That's a weird hill to die on,
okay.
But
You see this piece of paper? It's white. I won't. No more schedule smack. I'll find something else
I'll hold fire.
I will find something else to bang the drum on.
Down troops.
I hate the ending of this show, but the good news is we get to do it again on Sunday. Hopefully, we both are talking about victories and we're both in another good mood. It's good to have you back. You're a year older. You've developed a wine habit. You've developed a rosé habit. You've changed, man.
I've changed.
All
31 to 32 is a big one, apparently.
She's Amanda. I'm Billy, and I have been real busy.
Goalposts.
Absolutely. We'll talk next week. Bye. Later.